Welcome. This week we're going over lessons 101 through 104. How did last week's assessment go? If it went well, then congratulations. If it did not go well, it's okay. I still say congratulations. You might have to persevere just a little bit more, but you know what? All our children are different and they learn at different times. And if nothing else, I hope you guys have been learning that it is okay. They're going to have lots of time to work on this. You have that extra day. You could always focus on specific things. It's really up to you on how you want to tackle that. But we're going to get ready for this week. So let's see what materials will be needed. You'll need the geometric solids, the tiles, the dry erase board, the centimeter cubes, your abacus, the worksheets, a bunch of crayons. You don't need this now, but you'll need 2 cups that you can put water in one of them. They have to be the same size. You also need some cups that will be used with the balance for weighing. You could gather them now, make sure you have them, but you won't need them until the last lesson for this week. Lesson 101, measuring with inches. So this lesson, we're going to be using the tiles to measure things. Then you're going to introduce them to the word inch because the tile is 1 inch. One of the activities on the second page where you're introducing inches is asking how far a ladybug would travel if she was to walk around this shape. So I love the fact that we're working with perimeter. We're not going to use that word. Your child doesn't need to know that word. I guess you could tell them if you really, really want to, but it's a big word, so you don't need to. But the thing is, you might want to use the word rim because it helps children remember perimeter because there's rim in there. We're just walking around the rim. And they're going to see how far. And each tile is an inch. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 inches around. Lesson 102, measuring with centimeters. So just like the previous lesson, they're going to work on measuring, but instead of the inch tiles, they're going to use these little centimeter cubes. The thing about the centimeter cube is it's a little different than the tile because the tile's flat where this has a lot more volume to it. But we're not going to be concerned about the volume. We're just concerned about the distance from one vertice to the other vertice, which is 1 centimeter. So they're going to compare measuring similar items that they did yesterday, but rather than using the 1 inch tile, they will measure now with the 1 centimeter cube. At this point, we are not going to teach them how many centimeters are in 1 inch because then you're getting into decimals and fractions. What they're going to do is they're going to learn how many centimeters are in 2 inches, which is 5. There's technically 2.54 centimeters in 1 inch, but we're not going to do that right now. But they will learn that there's 5 centimeters in 2 inches. Something else they're going to measure are the abacus beads. So on the abacus, these beads are 1 centimeter. I'll just hold up the cube and you can do this yourself. Now, remember, it's from the widest part of the bead, but these are 1 centimeter, so they'll get to compare. If you look to the side, it says that the beads on the AL abacus standard, which is this one, and the AL abacus classic, which is this one, it's the wooden one, are 1 centimeter. However, this activity will not work with the Abacus Junior. And some of you are like, what? An Abacus Junior? What is that? And if you don't know, this is the Abacus Junior. He's just a little guy. And their beads are tiny, a lot tinier. What I've come to see is that it looks like 2 beads are equivalent or equal to 1 centimeter. So I guess if you were doing that, you could measure it with 2 beads, if that's all you had. I honestly am not sure I would recommend this for really young children, just because with these beads, you would think, oh, they have littler fingers, it's easier. No, I think it's a lot easier for them moving the bigger beads. But if you have this and they like it and they're able to use it, that's awesome. Lesson 103, measuring lengths. Basically, this lesson is just about using centimeters and inches. You'll see on that first page, there's questions comparing centimeters and inches. Just know your child may not need to have those centimeter cubes and the 1-inch tiles out for them to look at. They may be able to answer those questions just fine without having the material where they could see them. Some of your children, there's no way they'll be able to answer the questions without seeing the material. Look at the bottom of the page, worksheet 39. The page is just a bunch of different crayons that aren't colored, that have different lengths. They need to measure these crayons, find the crayons with the same length. So there'll be 2 crayons that have the same length. Then they color both crayons the same color. Last lesson for this week, lesson 104, comparing weight. In this lesson, this is where you need the balance. You're going to need your cups, 2 of the same size cups with water in one of them. And you're also going to need some disposable cups along with 2 rubber bands. Before we do anything on this lesson, look at the pictures on the explanation on that first page showing the 2 cups. Now, number 3 under materials, it says that your cups need to be 4 inches. These cups that they're showing right there look more like this. And this is not 4 inches. This is a 2-inch cup. This is not going to work. Look, even this won't even fit into it well at all. I mean, it fits into it, but I'm not sure how well it's going to hang. I guess if you shove it in. But look, this isn't going to go anywhere. There's no way you could get this to fit. I had one of these cups, which is also about 2 inches, but notice it's wider. It's like, oh, well, that works. Again, this does not work. I cannot get it to go in. I had these cups. These cups don't look anything like the cups you see on the picture, but this one is right at about 4.5 inches. Not only does this go in, easy, this goes in. Doesn't go all the way down, but it goes in, so it's not going to fall out. So this is pretty tall. Watch what it does when I hang it on the balance. It goes below the table. So I'm going to make sure when you do this, and I know y'all could figure this out, but I just thought I can help you ahead of time to let you know. You're going to need to lift your balance up. Put some books under it. Get it high enough so that when you weigh it, it won't hit the table, because if so, it's just going to make it knock off. And then you'll get frustrated. Your child will get frustrated. I'm going to use this one because I think it's easier for you to see it. But when you're preparing it, now I have a hole punch, and you can see I have the hole punch in here. Take a rubber band, you slide it through, then you put one end of the rubber band through the other and pull it, and then you can hang it up like this. So that part's pretty simple. And if you don't have a hole punch, you can, kind of snip it out with scissors or something. But you want the edges to be fairly smooth just so it will hang easier. And honestly, for the 2 cups with water, just make sure they're the same size. They don't have to be clear. You're going to put one with water, one without. They're basically going to lift the cups up and determine which one is heavier. I'm thinking some of your children are going to know which one's heavier without having to lift the cup up. But again, it's done for a purpose. So go ahead and do that part of the exercise, even though it seems really simple to us, right? Of course it's going to be heavier. The last thing about this lesson I want to talk about is on the second page. Your child's going to be weighing the geometric solids. Look at that note out to the right. It says your solids may have a different order because the weights may vary. meaning we have the order of this and then this. This could end up being heavier than this depending on the wood or something, I guess. So just know weights could vary. So this one could end up weighing more than this one. So when they place them in order, it may not look exactly like it does in the book. That's okay. We're done with this week. Kind of a fun week doing measuring, doing some weighing. I think it's a nice little break after all the computation and then doing the review and the assessment last week. Enjoy this week. Remember, you have that 5th day. You also don't have any games that are scheduled for this week. This is a great time if your child had any kind of areas that they need to be strengthened in from the assessment. Incorporate it into this week. If you have any questions, any comments, you need help with your child, feel free to contact us at the information you see on the screen. Our business hours are Monday through Thursday, 8:30 to 4:30 Central Time, and until 12:30 Central Time on Friday. And then you can email us at any time. Join me next week as we go over lessons 105 through 108. Until then.